We're here to help. What do you need us to do?
Well, topping our news tonight, arrests have been made in connection with that shooting at Oxon Hill High School last night. They are Anthony Hollingsworth and Zanaya Bryant. Both are 17 years old and are being charged as adults with attempted murder. The shooting happened in the parking lot of the school. Investigators say the three were in a car and began arguing. That's when a gun was pulled and the 17-year-old victim was shot in the chest. That student then walked into the school and told administrators he had been shot.
The school did have extracurricular activities taking place during the time of the shooting. However, the shooting did take place outside, and the school was placed on lockdown after that took place.
What did you see inside the school today?
So inside the school, it's very quiet, very normal. School is going on as you would expect. And again, we just want to make sure that we have the supports here that are needed if anyone is having difficulty understanding what might have happened, or if they have questions. We will make sure we have crisis counselors here. The principal is communicating with the family and with the other parents of Oxon Hill High School.
A terrible accident in Beltsville leaves a man dead. Take a look at the car. It is completely smashed in from the impact. The driver was rushed to the hospital but did not survive. According to a witness, the truck was at the stop sign when the gray car came speeding down Ewing Road. The car somehow lost control and hit the truck. Mick Roby says he rushed to the car to try and help the driver.
They gave him CPR from the car all the way to the ambulance. They were, giving him chest compressions.
What did it seem like was the cause of this to you?
Speed. I mean, that's all I could tell was speed. So.
And what about the truck driver? Was he moving at the time?
No, he was sitting still, getting ready to turn right onto Ewing, and the car just came that way and hit him.
So at about 10:45 this morning, officers responded to what preliminarily came out to be a critical injury crash at the intersection of Ewing Road and Hannah Street. Once they arrived on scene, they did observe a male victim, adult victim, who was suffering from critical injury. He was then transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead a short time later. The other driver of the vehicle was also taken to the hospital where what we believe to be non-life-threatening injury is being treated for those injuries as well.
The shooting at Oxon Hill High School was a setup, according to State's Attorney Angela Alsobrooks. Alsobrooks made the comment as she released new details about the incident. The victim's ex-girlfriend, Zanaya Bryant, asked him to meet her at the school on Monday. Once there, he got into a car with her and discovered Anthony Hollingsworth and another male in the backseat. One of them grabbed him. A scuffle ensued and he was shot. The victim escaped and ran into the school for help. Alsobrooks condemned the violence.
In this case, this is about something that really should have been resolved without violence, but unfortunately, the young people in this case made a very serious decision to do something that could have cost the victim, in this case, his life. The police at this moment are still searching for yet a third suspect who we expect to be apprehended very shortly, and we will move forward in this case and hold them accountable.
Route 210, it's a stretch of road that many say is dangerous. Now lawmakers are working to tackle the issue head-on in Annapolis. The Prince George's delegation has proposed House Bill 175. The legislation would put speed cameras along Indian Head Highway.
We're looking to install speed cameras on that route. Now, as far as where it would be placed, that's all in the process. Basically, the bill is to initiate speed cameras because currently in Prince George's County, they are only permitted in school zones and construction work zones.
Well, a Prince George's lawmaker is sponsoring hate bias prevention legislation. Today in Annapolis, Delegate Angela Angel discussed House Bill 511. The measure will require public universities to report all hate and bias incidents. Angel says the need for this bill stems from the tragic death of Bowie State student Richard Collins, who was killed in a racially charged incident last year.
Hate crimes that are on the rise everywhere. And they will not be accepted in the state of Maryland. They most certainly will not be accepted on our public institutions of higher education. And so while we can't always censor speech, We're going to track what's happening. We're going to make sure that who's responsible for it are paying serious consequences. And we're going to make sure that all of the members of our university campuses feel that this campus is a place where they can learn and be safe.
I took office on April 30th. My first day in office, however, May 1st, I was a victim of a racially motivated hate crime. An individual hung bananas from nooses in various places around campus, emblazoned with phrases that were identifying. They put Harambe bait, referencing the gorilla that was killed at the Cincinnati Zoo in 2016. And this was all my first day in office. Just 3 days later, I was a victim of racially motivated cyber harassment by known neo-Nazi groups. And it's being currently investigated as a hate crime.
2 suspects are in custody and 1 remains on the run after a robbery near the University of Maryland. The incident caused part of the school to be put on lockdown while police searched the woods behind the Chesapeake building. That is where the suspects fled after allegedly robbing this home on 36th Avenue. 2 people who were inside were also assaulted, according to police. We spoke with the neighbor who said it's normally a quiet area.
I didn't hear anything, and so, the ambulance left, the police left, and so I went back inside. And when just now, about 10 minutes ago, I saw, I heard the car door slamming, so I always hear the car door slam, so I always come to look to see what's going on. And then I saw somebody with the camera, with the microphone going down the street. So I said, something must have happened. So this I came out, and then she told me that there was robbery. That's all. I didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. It's a quiet neighborhood, except the students. They in the summertime, there's parties going on, and cars, back and forth. That's about it.
Governor Larry Hogan is proposing a settlement of up to $100 million in hopes of ending a lawsuit involving Maryland's historically black colleges. Now, the suit goes back to 2006 when the state was sued for underfunding the schools. Earlier this week, the state was granted a stay of the judge's order outlining possible remedies to what she called unconstitutional violations due to unnecessary program duplication. The Legislative Black Caucus calls the governor's move a start.
I'm happy. I'm ecstatic that the governor is willing to resolve the lawsuit. That is our top priority. The resolution of the lawsuit, we told him the day after session started that we wanted him to order the Attorney General to dismiss the appeal and settle the lawsuit. It's over a 10-year period of time. So you're looking at $10 million each year for the next 10 years, to be divided among 4 HBCUs. And so how would that division be done? How does this impact the other state funding that they are otherwise entitled to? And we noticed in the letter as well that it didn't include attorney's fees. Yet the decision of the court says that the state of Maryland was guilty of the lack of funding, the appropriate funding, and the duplication of programs.
Laurel police make 2 arrests in a human trafficking case involving 3 teenage girls. Officers responded to a drug complaint call the morning of January 11th to the Holiday Inn Express and Suites on Laurel Place. When they arrived, they found 3 females ages 15, 16, and 17 who officers believe were being used for prostitution.
Follow up with an investigation revealed that there was human trafficking ongoing. We had 2 individuals, Gerald Dwayne Marshall and Ashawn Dean. We was able to obtain arrest warrants for those 2 individuals for human trafficking, and the 3 juveniles that were involved in the case were released to the custody of Child Protective Services.
What message are you all giving just to the community in general to make sure everyone is aware that this is happening or could happen?
Well, we just want people to understand that a lot of times people misunderstand what human trafficking is, and it involves sometimes what is included as prostitution and things of that matter, and not just taking someone against their will. So we just want everyone to be vigilant and understand that this can also happen to not only juveniles, but as adults as well.
Lawmakers in Annapolis are considering legislation aimed at strengthening laws that protect children. State's Attorney Angela Also Brooks testified this afternoon about those 2 bills. One would increase penalties for teachers, administrators, and others who are aware of but fail to report suspected child abuse or neglect. The other measure would mandate threats against children be reported to authorities.
We have had a good number of cases, more than we care to mention, where an individual who was a mandatory reporter had an obligation to report suspected child abuse or neglect, did not do so, and in the most egregious cases there's no penalty attached to it. So this has been a toothless law, and we just want to ensure that we have every tool available to us, should we need it, to be able to prosecute individuals who really neglect children or who don't adhere to their responsibilities to children.